Today I'm making one of my best friend Anna's grandma's recipes. They're called party cookies. I had them over the weekend. If you guys have ever seen that episode of Broad City where Alana goes home to meet Abby's friends and family, it felt a lot like that, and I highly recommend checking out your best friend's hometown because it was so rewarding. But let's get started on some cookies because I'm giving these cookies out to my next door neighbors for watching my dog for me while I was at the wedding, and I'm also bringing some cookies to a boy I'm going on a date with tonight. Okay, first things first, this is actually kind of a crucial part. We are using shortening today, we're using Crisco, but it has to be the butter flavor because that makes a big difference in this recipe. So not 1, but 2 cups of shortening. And this makes a pretty decent amount of cookies, actually. We've got 2 cups of shortening in, so let's start mixing that up. We're also going to add in 2 cups of brown sugar, 1 cup of regular granulated sugar, 4 eggs, but I'm going to crack my eggs first in my bowl. I'm also adding a little bit of good quality vanilla and a little bit of bad quality vanilla. Actually, I shouldn't say bad, I should say generic. So this is some vanilla paste and about 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Okay, so do you want the tea on this new guy? Also, if you're unaware, what I've kind of been doing is making recipes for guys that I'm starting to go on dates with. They probably are unaware of it. Like, it's kind of fun because I don't follow all of them on like Instagram or whatever, so they have no idea. Okay, now let's add the flour. We have 4.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Oops, we lost a little bit, but that's okay. Just like these boys, they're not gonna realize until they realize that I'm the one that got away. But it's not to say that my cooking is like all that and a bag of chips, but that's hilarious because we're using chips in this. So these chips are actually my favorite brand of potato chips. Not this specific flavor. I always like the dill pickle chips, and I don't recommend using that for this recipe. But the dill pickle chips have always been my favorite. I even mentioned that in my cookbook, and I highly recommend. And these chips are made in Minnesota. Okay, this is looking great. I'm going to mix a little bit of it by hand to make sure we've got something good going on here. Feels like the flour is absorbing, but we don't want to overmix. So I am going to add just a touch more flour. Kind of what we're going for is like, it feels kind of Play-Doh-y. Okay, now it's time to add some of the mix-ins. And we're going to give it like a light little stir back on the mixer. So let's start with the butterscotch, chocolate chips, potato chips. We're also just going to add in the Teddy Grahams, mini M&Ms and mini chocolate chips, and last but not least, some mini marshmallows. And if you have pretzels, I would also add pretzels to this. Okay, ready for some really amazing ASMR? It's not that amazing, but it's gonna be good. Just kidding, don't forget 2 teaspoons of baking powder and a pinch of salt. Oh my gosh, that would have been bad. I'm not adding too much salt because the potato chips also have salt. Okay, so this is gonna sound so cheesy, and I know that, but I genuinely feel this way. When I was visiting my friend Anna's hometown, that's like one of my favorite things to do. And it was so nice to meet people that she's been talking about, like her family members. Grab an ice cream scoop and let's start making some cookies. Set your oven to 350 degrees and start placing your cookie dough. But it was so nice seeing my friend and her family, and we also went for a wedding, so it was just great for so many reasons. Make sure you're spreading your cookies out far enough apart so they have just a little bit of room to spread, but they will flatten. Okay, and I think I've made a new discovery on the type of boys that I date. I was trying to determine if I had a type, and I don't think I have a type, but I can appreciate a nerdy guy because I'm kind of secretly a nerd. I don't know if you guys know that, but I am. We've got our little cookies that are ready to go in the oven. We're going to bake these for 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes, and 12 is my lucky number, so that's another reason that I love these recipes. I'm also gonna try making a couple a little bit larger, but these are pretty like thin kind of chewy cookie. I personally am not a fan of a hard cookie, but I digress. And we'll be back for the final results. Okay, they look great. These ones are a little bit larger than the ones that we made, but they still look and smell delicious. And garnished with some flaky salt. Another little fun fact about this recipe is I wanted to call them everything cookies, not only because they have everything in them, but because they're my best friend Anna's grandma's recipe, and going home to her hometown really did mean everything, and it was like a little mini vacation. So here are the everything cookies. Enjoy!